In this episode of City Blades Tutorials, we want to go over how to do turns, 3 turns, moving 3 turns, and eventually lions. We do have to start at the beginning with learning how to control our rotation, and we do this by doing them on a circle. When we're on a circle, we'll have something to reference and makes it easier to check the rotation. The first thing we have to understand about turns is it's a forward motion to a backward motion, that we want to have control of this turn. We don't want to just whip around. And to do that, we want to use a circle to control that motion. So having the arms up, shoulders facing the circle, checking from one hip to the next hip. I think arms actually hurt your skating more than they help. For most of your deep knee, powerful skating, your arms flailing around is a bad thing. So a lot of times when I'm practicing things, I hold my wrist out in front of me. But for the sake of learning how to skate on a circle, it's good to use the arms as visuals. But at the end of the day, we're going to be talking about how to control turns not with your arms, but with your shoulders. By reaching your arms behind you, it twists your shoulders over your hips, creating curvature. Start this with motion and sink in your knees and reach your arms and your shoulders to create curvature in that direction. Once you feel comfortable doing a 2-foot glide, move to doing a 1-foot glide on the circle. For this video, we're going to start with the outside edge 1-foot glide and the outside edge 3-turn. We call it an outside edge because the outside of the boot is facing the circle. Key takeaways for 1-foot glides on a circle is stacking your weight over your skating leg, whether it's inside or outside, lifting the free leg and hip at the same time, not just bending at the knee, and collecting the free leg behind the skating leg to center your weight over that skating leg that much more. This first curve is the start of your 3-turn. A 3-turn is 2 lobes, 2 cusps, and in between those 2 lobes is the turning point. And to turn, we use a checking motion from reaching behind you and then checking across your body and twisting your hips at the same time. So the motion is reach and check and push and turn. Both of those happening in sequence with each other. Reach behind you to start and check to turn. Bend your knees and raise in your knees to accelerate the turn. Now doing the 1-foot 3-turn is as easy as putting the 1-foot glide and the 2-foot checking motion together. Push and reach behind you onto a 1-foot glide and raise and check to turn. Now the harder that you push, the quicker you can rotate, but the more that you'll need to check. Common mistakes would be pushing harder than you're checking, so you over-rotate your turn. Looking down will create a rock forward. Try to keep your eyes up, spine up, and sit back in your heels slightly when doing pushes. Make sure that you keep the free leg and free hip lifted, staying on a 1-foot glide backwards. We don't want to step down immediately after the 3-turn. It'll create an over-rotation and make you lose control.
So the lion is, in my opinion, probably wizard skating's greatest gift to flatline skating. It's really, really similar to a 3-turn, actually so much so that the first time one was showed to a figure skater, she immediately just said, oh, that's a 3-turn. And thus became this kind of situation for mislabeling between the two. It's a little bit different. There's some fundamental differences in technique and execution that really set it apart. Additionally, both three turns and lions are essential components of the twizzle, which is an advanced move that we're going to cover later. So let's take a look at possibly the easiest version. Easiest one for me would be the right inside lion. The approach to the lion is quite similar to a three turn. However, it requires a much stronger, deeper edge for proper execution. When entering the lion, sink in your knee and position your weight over your inside edge. So this is going to be kind of like the arch in your foot. This should result in a really tight curve, bringing you 90 degrees from your original direction of travel. As you approach the middle section of the movement, rise in the knee and allow your weight to center over your skating foot. As you continue to travel onto your outside edge, begin sinking in the knee again. Notice that no lift occurs, at least intentionally, in this movement. So common mistakes. A common mistake for beginners is to try to lock their leg in place and whip around in the shape of a three. While this move is technically possible to execute in this manner, it will never ever feel or look controlled. Another common mistake is to rise and skid the wheels through the second half of the movement. While this move is, again, technically possible in this manner, it's much more reliant on the surface that you're skating on, and it'll just generally steal power from your flow. The last common issue is to come out of the movement two-footed instead of one, which is due to lack of comfort on your exit edge. A good exercise for this is to enter the movement two-footed like a gazelle and exit one-footed.